Morning, everyone. Welcome back to our trading room. Hang on here a second. We'll get the screen share going on. Oh, excuse me. Late night, early morning. I was looking at the NASDAQ, and the daily chart actually really downplays yesterday's activity. Let's take a look here at a 5-minute chart. Do I have the right data series? There, that's more better. Yeah, okay, so you want to guess when the FOMC minutes came out? This was where yesterday's session opened up, and it was Dullsville for us. Nothing going on, nothing going on, nothing going on, and all of a sudden things start to get a little bit more interesting. So a huge rally going into the close. We're starting the day pretty much from where we left off, so no real gaps or anything to worry about, but a definite bullish push here going on at the moment. And like I said, it doesn't show up very well on the daily chart, but it does look as though we may have something of a trend developing, maybe. The last few days prior to the FOMC have been pretty dismal. It's been a long time since I've had 3 losing days in a row. Not huge losses, but losses all the same. So here on the NASDAQ, Eagle, your first in-sync Eagle signal working out very nicely. That's your first signal of the day. Nice little run up. Of course, you can do the same thing on the Raptor or the Falcon for that matter. So here on the Raptor, your bands are stacked in a bullish fashion. So you're going to ignore the counter trend signal, but you're going to look to take your first in sync buy signal because the bands are bullish. And that also working out very, very well. Here you could be 5 minutes into your trading day could be done. What could be better than that? I'm going to give them a few minutes here, though, to see whether we're actually getting a trend. I do believe the market is a little bit more bullish. back to the first hard edge on the Raptor. I think days like this, I don't think trend is going to be the issue so much as covering your position. You know, I think you could just look to take a buy signal. Here's a buy signal right there. Let's look to take the buy signal. The problem is stop placement. If the market looks back at all, my stops are right here below the first swing. So there's a definite trade-off in probabilities, if you will. We have a good idea. We have a relatively high probability that the market will go higher, but our probabilities are reduced in terms of probability that the trade will work out, because of course your stop loss is always a function of that. If your stop loss is really, really close, the chances that your trade will work out are less than if your stop loss is further away. Kind of has that inverse relationship. All right, I'm going to take this opportunity to get the trade to break even. We do have our swing target, by the way. If I can get one more bar, I'm going to get up here and protect the, there we go. I'll protect the swing target and hooray. So we had our Bollinger Suite in sync on that as well, and just the fact that we have momentum. Right? The market has this tendency to do this kind of thing where it will make a move, it will make a pause, and then somewhere through there it will continue with the move. In fact, you could even make a case that it was a breakout or retest and then another move higher. So trend trumps all. You should always stay with the trend as much as possible. Okay, there we are, 10 minutes into the day, not even. Trading day complete. And why not? We just made $200 per contract. Remember, it's not trading more often that we're after. It's trading size, getting yourself in a position where you can trade 2 or 3 or 4 contracts. That same $200 all of a sudden will become $400 or $600 or $1,000. When you get to the point where you're eventually trading 10 contracts or more at a time, the NASDAQ should still get you in and out without too much slippage, but after that you may want to migrate to the E-mini if you're going to be trading more than 10 contracts at a time, because of course on the E-mini 10 contracts are just a blip, not even a little wrinkle. but it's a nice problem to have. Trading so much size that slippage becomes an issue. We should all have that problem. Okay, back now to the hard edge. Unlike the other signal that we did here with the eagle, now all of a sudden we're a little bit more conflicted. We've got the hawk out of sync, the falcon's out of sync. The raptor still bullish, but resting here on the first hard edge. The eagle still bullish. Actually getting a trend change signal here on the falcon, and of course the first micro-macro cross lower in the hawk. I don't think I would want to be all that aggressive on the short side, not yet anyway. What's likely to happen over the next hour is that somewhere in here, the sellers are going to show up. They're going to try to push the market down a little bit. Then the buyers will show up. And when the buyers show up and try to push the market higher, well, then we'll know the limit that the sellers are prepared to go to at the short term. So that gives us a level which we can sell below when the buyers try to pick up the market again. And then somewhere through there, the sellers will show up again. And that will give us a limit on the top side. So the market will eventually work itself into a little bit of a tight spot. And that should give us an opportunity It's what they do all the time. It's how we get tests of the extreme and channels and breakouts and retests and all those kinds of good things. All right, not much in the way of a test of the extreme, a little bit of a bull flag even here on the eagle. Oops, wrong tool. All right, teeny tiny test of the extreme. Here we have a couple of counter bars now, so you could throw a little trend line above there. If we breach the trend line, we may see an uptick in bullish momentum. Right now, they're pretty darn happy just going back and forth. Okay, this did not print as a number 2 signal, but that is what we're looking at here. This is a test of the extreme. Now we've got the counter trend signal. It did not print as a number 2 signal because it is too far removed from the high. Too many bars in here for the programming for it to qualify. However, if we can get another little bit of a bounce here off of the hard edge, we may get that 2-3-2 style setup, which tends to make for a viable short. So the seller's now testing the bottom end. We took out that little swing low. You could also interpret this as an early trend change signal. That's also an option. We're going to produce another trend change signal here on the Falcon. The Hawk already here with the first micro macro cross. We're in the hard edge, so I'm going to try to avoid being too cute with the market here, and I'll wait for a signal to actually print. Come on. You can do it. Give me that signal. The ideal setup would see a buy signal in here, followed by another sell signal. That would really kind of squash the buyers, at least short term. Long term, we got to take yesterday's huge rally, the overnight rally, this morning's rally. Buyers are just not walking away, that's for sure. Well, I was a little bit more excited here when the Bollinger Suite was in sync. Now we're out of sync, but that's okay. Sometimes what happens is it has to get above the top end before it turns back down. Okay, here's the buy signal. Okay, so it's essentially a number 3 signal. It's not going to print as a number 3 because the clouds are out of sync, but that is what we're looking at. The hard edge bounce. This is straight up counter trend too, which adds to the overall riskiness of the trade. Remember, I said the trend is up. We're going to have better opportunities staying with trend. But maybe They're sorting themselves out. Sellers took their foot off the gas. The bears were looking much more aggressive there a moment ago. They're liking the hard edge. This whole 70, there it is. This whole 79.50 zone is also a psychological level. All right, like I said, this is a little bit on the risky side, given that it is counter trend. Okay, they're continuing to fight the hard edge. Ooh, that's interesting. We got ourselves a little bit of a number one signal. I would very much like to see the market pull back from here. And then I can bring in my buy order, and we'll have the market in a little bit of a bind. So everybody knows there's a trend line there. The market breaks the trend line. We wait for the sellers to show up. Show us what limits they're prepared to go to. Well, that's one bar countered trend. I would like to see two. Two would make me feel better. You could treat this as a second push on this number one signal as well.
Order submitted.
My concern is these highs, that the market will fill and then react to the highs. I hate those one tick trends. That's why I was looking for 2 bars counter. You see, if you get 2 bars in a row, it tends to make for a stronger resistance area versus just having one bar where the market can potentially waffle. Waffles. All right, well, here we go. For better or for worse. Let's see if they can get up there. So now we're encountered this swing zone here at 79.60. There's a little bit of a pushback from it now. See? Look at you scoundrels. See, had I waited for the 2 bars counter, my entry would be above here, wouldn't it? I wouldn't even be in this trade yet. Okay, there's the number 3 signal. Okay, buyers, you got to go. So I'll bring my stops up here to the hard edge. And then if I can get this bar to go bullish, I will bring my stops up to break even. Okay, that may be as bullish as it's going to get. So I'll get the stops to break even. Ugh, stinkers. Well, I was complaining about a lack of volatility the last few days. No such problem today. They're probably going to slip a little higher. Try to check out that top end. I got tapped out a little bit too early though. Yeah, see, darn it. Yeah, that's too bad. Well, a break even is not a loss, but the profit would have been nice. All right, so another little flurry, and well, at this point, I'm kind of in a holding pattern until we see another pullback. That will be the best opportunity to re-enter. So a whole lot of back and forth. Okay, I wonder, did we just see the market top out here? We have a little bit of a double top, very drawn out double top. Trade forecaster says we are in scalp mode, so I guess it's not unusual to expect the market flip-flopping a bit. I'm still overall more bullish than bearish, though. I don't want to get too crazy. All right, well, back to the hard edge. And here we have another buy signal. Okay, I'll use this current bar as a second push opportunity on that number 3 signal.
Order submitted.
If this number 3 signal fails, we're going to come back with another number 2 signal. This essentially the test of the extreme. Then we're going to have a 2-3-2 type setup, which would be a viable short. Oh, come on, baby. Don't quit now. Okay, time to get the trade to break even as we challenge the highs. Oh, you stinkers. Don't tell me I was too quick with my stop again. Oh, darn it. I think I was. Oh, well. We are in scalp mode. I don't feel much like giving the market more wiggle room than it needs. Darn it. Darn it. Shoot. That's 2 break-even tap outs that would have been profitable had my stops been back a little bit longer. Okay, here we go with that number 2 signal again. As I mentioned before, I'm not really keen on shorting. given that we are in an uptrend. Overall, since the opening buzzer. But it does appear as though the buyers are laboring a little bit, doesn't it? When you consider each push up and how much they actually gain. You can see the momentum seems to be, well, it's certainly diminishing. There's no doubt about that. Does that mean it's time to short? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about, well, the Hawk not ready just yet. The Falcon in the middle of a trend change signal. The Raptor actually here a little bit ahead of the curve with that number 2 signal. All right, let's see if I get a second push opportunity on this number 2 signal. So we'll use that current bar as our second push bar. Signal printing back here. I don't want to wait too long because if I'm going to short it, stop's got to go above the highs, right? And I don't want the market to fall off too low because then I end up having to risk more than would be appropriate. Well, overall, it's been a decent day, albeit follow through lacking some momentum. We're going to get another hard edge bounce if it continues higher from here, and I'm getting really hesitant about buying it some more. And yet, that is the trend. I'm sorry, folks. While I think of it, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to make our trading room tomorrow morning. Totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry. I got so many things going on right now. It's hard to keep track of everything. But I need to cancel tomorrow morning's trading room. Come on. I'd like to get one more trade in here before I gotta close things up. Just checking the reports calendar. I'm not sure why they are so dead. Are we waiting on something here today? No more reports today. What about tomorrow? No, nothing tomorrow. Nothing of consequence anyways. All right, here we go. There's a second push on that number 2 signal. Wow. Okay, well, we're not getting a whole lot. I'm just checking President Trump's Twitter feed to see if he's written anything, but obviously not. Obviously nothing here to stir up the markets. The evils of counter trend trading. Here comes the with trend signal. If we come back from here with another sell signal, we'll have that 232 type setup. In this case, it'll be a 212. Same idea though. Only good thing about counter trend trades is you know exactly where to place your stop. we know without a doubt if the market trades above the contract highs or the daily high, then there's a pretty good chance you're on the wrong side of the position. All right, boys and girls, we're going to have to button things up here pretty quick. And there we go, retesting the highs. All right, gang, I got to go. So I've got to close down the room here. If we break the highs, you can look for that breakout and retest pattern to develop and perhaps buy the market higher still. As I mentioned before, the trend is up. This little short-term trying to short counter trend, well, it's not looking so promising here at the moment. I will see you on Monday. Have yourselves a nice weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.